Today we're going to do 3-2 graphs of linear equations in two variables. And I drew a XY graph here for you just to kind of remind you what it looks like. This is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, this is quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So you would go counterclockwise to find each of the quadrants. This is the this is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis, and they meet in the middle, which is called the origin. If I were to ask you to graph these points, I'll change colors. Just to remind you, this is the negative side, this is a negative side, this is positive, and this is positive. So you would go over -1, up 1, 2, 3, and it would be a +3 for this point right here. For 3, 3, you go over 1, 2, 3 in the positive direction and up 3 in the positive direction. For 0, -4, you wouldn't go anywhere left or right, but you would go down 4. For 3, -3, you go over +3 and then down -3. And for 4, 0, you would go over 4, but you wouldn't go up or down any. So that's how you plot those points. Let's start with our first example. If I gave you the equation x plus y equals 7, and I wanted you to graph it, there's 3 ways to graph it. One is where you plug in test points, like I would plug in a 0 and I'd solve for y, I'd plug in a 1, I'd solve for y, I'd plug in negative numbers and solve for y. But I think that takes a lot of time, and I don't think you're going to use that for your test. So I'll show you the second method, which is called quick graphs. And quick graphs are where you find where the graph crosses the x and the y axis. In order to do that, you ask yourself, okay, if I want to find where it's going to cross on the x, I know that my y is going to equal 0 because I will be over something here and I won't be going up or down any. So I'm going to plug in 0 for y, and I know that x equals 7. So that means I'm going to plot the point 7, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 7, 0. Then I have to find where it's going to cross the y. Well, I know that that's going to be something, or that's going to be 0, something. Because I'm not going to go over any, but I'm going to go up or down something depending on my graph. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x. So y would also, in this case, equal 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'd have the point 0, 7, and I could draw my line. Hopefully you draw straighter than me. So that would be your line, and these are called quick graphs. The third way I'm going to show you in a later chapter. So for your homework tonight, when it asks you or your classwork tomorrow, when it shows you, asks you to graph, and it gives you an equation, go ahead and just use quick graphs. Example number 2. We'll do one more of these kind of quick graphs. Let's see, what if I gave you y minus 2x equals 6? So again, you're going to plug in 0 for y and solve for x. So I divide by -2. I have x equals -3. So that means I have the point -3, 0. I'm going to plug in 0 for x, and I get y equals 6. So that means I have 0, 6. And those are my 2 points. So when I go to graph this, I'm at -3, 0, and 0 up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this would be my graph. example number 3, there are some special kind of graphs, and sometimes you'll get an equation like y equals -2, or you could get something like x equals 4. Here's how you graph those. If it's y equals 2, and this is my graph, let me draw 2 graphs here. If I have y equals -2, I know that the trick on what this graph looks like is that it's going to cut through the y-axis at -2. So here's my y-axis, and it's going to cut through it at -2. It's not going to parallel it. A lot of people try to parallel it. No, it's not going to parallel the y-axis. It's going to cut through the y. Here, it's going to cut through the x-axis, because it's an x, and this is the x-axis, at 4. So x cuts through the x, y cuts through the y-axis, and you go through whatever number it is. If it's -2, you go through at -2. If it's 4, you go through at 4.